Germany, land of efficiency, engineering, and enough rules to make your head spin. When you think of German stereotypes, you probably picture punctuality, beer, and someone yelling at you for crossing the street wrong. But let's dive deeper into the actually negative stereotypes that Germans deal with on the daily. From bureaucratic nightmares to social interactions that feel like job interviews, we're covering it all. The German engineer. Meet the German engineer. This person can't have a normal conversation without turning it into a technical specification review. You mention you bought a new car, and suddenly you're getting a 20-minute lecture on torque ratios, and why your choice was objectively incorrect based on a spreadsheet they created in 2007. They carry a measuring tape everywhere. Not for work, just in case someone makes an imprecise claim about furniture dimensions at a dinner party. They'll correct you mid-sentence if you say about 5 meters instead of 4.73 meters. Every problem has an optimal solution, and they'll find it even if it takes 6 months of research to buy a toaster. But here's the thing. German engineering is world famous for a reason. When they build something, it actually works and lasts forever. The Besserwisser. The know-it-all. The Besserwisser starts every single sentence with actually, and it makes you want to scream. They have an opinion on everything from geopolitics to the correct way to fold towels, and they'll share it whether you asked or not. You're telling a story at a party, and they interrupt to correct a minor detail that has zero impact on the story. Actually, that happened on a Tuesday, not a Wednesday. They cite academic sources during casual beer conversations. They've brought printed Wikipedia pages to arguments. Multiple times. They cannot let anything slide. If you say, I think, they hear, please correct me with 17 citations. But honestly, they're usually actually right. Their annoying accuracy has saved people from making genuinely terrible decisions. When you need real information, you know exactly who to ask. They're walking encyclopedias who happen to have terrible social skills. The AMT, welcome to the AMT, the German government office. This is where hope goes to die. You walk in and immediately feel like you've entered a Kafka novel written by someone who hates happiness. Take a number even if you're literally the only person in the building. Wait for 3 hours. Get called to Windows 7. They look at your perfectly organized folder of documents and say you need to go to Windows 12. Windows 12 sends you back to Windows 7. Windows 7 is now closed for lunch. Come back tomorrow, bring different documents. Which documents? They can't tell you. Figure it out. The fluorescent lighting makes everyone look dead inside. The chairs are intentionally uncomfortable. Sign language with the clerks is somehow forbidden, so you just point desperately at papers. But once you actually navigate the system, everything gets documented and traceable. Less corruption. More accountability. The German bureaucracy is frustrating, but it's frustratingly fair. The German teacher. The German teacher loves rules more than they love students, and they're not hiding it. They point at their watch when you're 30 seconds late. 30 seconds. They have assigned seating charts for university students, adults, paying money, assigned seats. Their grading scale starts at acceptable and goes down from there. You've never seen them smile. Not once. Not even at the Christmas party, where everyone else is drunk and happy. They give homework over holidays because learning never stops, and neither does their sadistic approach to education. You ask for an extension because your grandmother died, and they ask for the death certificate. In triplicate, but here's the redemption. German education produces some of the world's most competent students. That tough love approach actually creates adults who can handle adversity and think critically. They're not mean. They're preparing you for a world that won't baby you either. Sunday. In Germany, it's Sunday in Germany. Everything is closed. And I mean everything. Forgot to buy milk on Saturday. You're drinking black coffee or starving. Need bread? You're eating dry pasta. Want to buy literally anything? Too bad. Stores are closed by law, but it's not just shopping. You also can't make noise. No vacuuming, no drilling, no moving furniture, no living your life too loudly. The entire country enters mandatory quiet mode. Your neighbors are listening. Always listening. Waiting for you to break the sacred silence so they can knock on your door with a printed copy of the local noise ordinance. It's like the whole country agreed to just stop existing one day a week. You're supposed to go to church or take a walk in nature or just sit there contemplating the void, but honestly it forces actual rest. No shopping addiction, no errands, just family time and relaxation. Workers get a guaranteed day off. It's annoying until you realize it's kind of beautiful. The BMT. The BMT. The German civil servant. This is someone who has achieved ultimate job security and has decided to use that power for absolutely nothing. They're impossibly slow. Not because they're stupid, but because they literally cannot be fired, so why rush? They love paperwork more than they love their own children. 3 forms to change your address. 5 forms to register a car. 17 forms to breathe incorrectly near a government building. They follow rules with religious devotion even when the rules make no sense. You're mid-sentence explaining your situation, and it's 3:59 in the afternoon. They close the window, directly in front of your face. Office hours are until 4. It's 3:59. They're already putting on their coat. But here's the upside. Because they can't be fired or pressured, they also can't be corrupted. They have no incentive to take bribes or bend rules for powerful people. The system is slow, but it's honest. The rule enforcer. Every German neighborhood has one. The rule enforcer, the self-appointed sheriff of minor violations who has made it their life's mission to correct strangers. They see you jaywalking on an empty street at midnight, and they'll yell at you from their window. They carry laminated copies of local ordinances in their bag just in case someone needs to be educated. They're the most active member of every neighborhood Facebook group, posting about trash bins left out too long or cars parked 2 centimeters over the line. They call the police for noise violations at 10:02 in the evening. Not 10:15, 10:02. They've measured they will confront you in public about your dog being off-leash or your recycling being in the wrong color bin. They have no official authority, but they act like they're the mayor and the police chief combined. Is it annoying? Absolutely. But the community actually stays clean and organized because someone gives enough of a damn to enforce standards. They're doing the thankless work of maintaining order. Are Germans in the comments nodding along, or are you offended? I need to know. The German workplace. The German office is a special kind of purgatory. Walk in at 9:01 and everyone notices. Everyone. The room is silent except for keyboard clicking. Nobody talks. Nobody decorates their desk with personal items. The temperature is exactly 20 degrees Celsius always. If you suggest 21 degrees, you'll start a war. There's a kitchen schedule posted for who washes the communal coffee pot, and if you miss your turn, there will be a passive-aggressive note. Not a conversation, a note. Typed, printed, laminated. People eat lunch at their desks, in silence, or in the designated lunchroom at the designated lunchtime. No spontaneous pizza parties, no casual Fridays, no fun. The break room has a calculator next to the coffee machine, so people can calculate their exact share of the communal coffee fund down to the cent. But you leave at 5 sharp with 0 guilt. Actual work-life balance. Your vacation days are respected. Your weekends are yours. The Germans separate work and life completely. The German boss. Your German boss doesn't do small talk, and they're not going to start now. Walk into their office, and it's straight to business. No, how was your weekend, or nice weather. Just, here's what you did wrong in the presentation. They give brutally direct feedback with 0 sugarcoating. This is bad. Fix it. That's the whole conversation. They expect absolute perfection. And they're genuinely confused when you're upset about being told your work is subpar. In their mind, they're helping you improve. They send emails at 6 in the morning with subject lines like, "We need to talk," and the content is about font choice. You spend all day panicking only to find out they wanted Arial instead of Calibri. They don't understand why you're stressed. But here's the positive side. The expectations are crystal clear. No office politics, no fake friendships, no wondering if your boss actually likes your work. They'll tell you. And they respect work-life balance once you leave the building. Your personal time is sacred. The Kehrwasche, stairwell cleaning week. This is a uniquely German form of psychological warfare disguised as community responsibility. Every resident gets assigned a week where they're responsible for cleaning the building's common areas. Sounds reasonable, right? Wrong. Your neighbors will inspect your work like they're Gordon Ramsay judging a Michelin star restaurant. The previous person left one microscopic dust particle on the railing, and now you're the villain of the building. People will knock on your door to inform you that your mopping technique is insufficient. There are passive-aggressive notes left in the hallway. Perhaps some people don't understand what clean means. You spend hours scrubbing stairs and wiping windows and checking corners with a flashlight because you know they're watching. They're always watching. But the building actually stays immaculate. Shared responsibility prevents the tragedy of the commons. Everyone contributes equally. The system works even if it feels like living in a very clean prison with very judgmental inmates. The Polizei. The German police officer will fine you for anything. Jaywalking on an empty street at 3 in the morning? That's 50 euros. Riding your bike without a light even though it's noon and sunny? 40 euros. Your grass is 2 centimeters taller than the local ordinance allows? They'll measure it and write you up. They have zero sense of humor about minor violations. You try to explain that you were just crossing the street because there were no cars, and they look at you like you suggested murdering someone. Rules are rules. They don't care about context or common sense. They will absolutely pull you over for going 3 kilometers over the speed limit. 3. They take notes on everything. Your name gets written down for looking suspicious, which apparently means existing in public while foreign. But corruption rates are incredibly low. They actually show up and help during real emergencies. The strict enforcement means serious crimes get handled seriously. When you actually need them, they're professional and effective. Fair is fair even when it's painfully strict. The German train Deutsche Bahn, Germany's train system. Supposedly the pinnacle of German efficiency, except it's constantly delayed and nobody knows why. The train is either packed like a sardine can or completely empty with no middle ground. You're standing in someone's armpit for 2 hours, or you've got an entire car to yourself, feeling like you're in a post-apocalyptic movie. The air conditioning breaks during summer. The heating breaks during winter. You're either freezing or melting. There's no comfortable in between. And the delays. Oh, the delays. We apologize for the inconvenience. Every single day. The entire train sighs in unison when the delay announcement plays, because of course it's delayed. It's always delayed. The silence car is sacred, but there's always one person taking phone calls and everyone's shooting death glares, but nobody actually confronts them because confrontation is uncomfortable. This is Germany. When it actually works, though, it's genuinely excellent. Comfortable seating, extensive network reaching tiny villages, affordable prices. The system connects the whole country. The pessimist. Meet the German pessimist. Everything is going to fail. The weather will be bad. The government is useless. The economy is collapsing. Your plans won't work out. They're never satisfied even when things go perfectly. You tell them about your new job and they immediately list 5 reasons it'll end badly. You're excited about a vacation and they mention all the ways you'll be disappointed. They respond to "How are you?" with a 10-minute medical report, followed by an economic forecast explaining why inflation will destroy everyone's savings. They expect the worst always. Planning a party? They're already planning for nobody showing up. Starting a business? They're calculating your bankruptcy timeline. It's exhausting being around them because optimism dies in their presence, but their realistic expectations actually prevent major disappointments. They're excellent at anticipating problems before they happen. When everyone else is blindly optimistic, they're the ones creating backup plans. German pessimism is just aggressive preparation disguised as negativity. The Hausmeister, the building manager. This person is perpetually angry, and you're not sure why. They're territorial about the building, like it's their personal kingdom, and you're an invading army. They enforce obscure rules you didn't know existed. No bikes in the hallway. No doormats that are the wrong size. No breathing too loudly on Tuesdays. They're always watching. Always. You put your recycling in the wrong bin at 11 at night, and somehow they know. They know everything. They appear out of nowhere when you're carrying furniture, asking if you have permission for that. Permission to move your own furniture into your own apartment. They leave notes on your door about violations. Passive-aggressive notes, sometimes aggressive-aggressive notes. You're scared of them. Everyone's scared of them, But the building stays immaculate and safe because they actually care. When something breaks, they fix it immediately. The heating works, the lights work, everything functions because they're obsessively maintaining it. They're grumpy, but competent. Anmeldung, registration, the process of officially registering your address in Germany. Sounds simple, right? You moved. You tell the government, done, wrong. You need an appointment. The next available appointment is in 4 months. You book it. You wait 4 months. You gather 47 documents, birth certificate, passport, rental contract, proof of previous address, blood type written in ancient runes. Your grandmother's maiden name, 3 character witnesses. You show up on the day. The form was updated 3 months ago. Your documents are now invalid. You need different ones. Which ones? They can't tell you specifically. Just different ones. Figure it out. Come back in another 4 months. The cycle repeats. People have lived in Germany for years without being properly registered because the system makes it nearly impossible. But once you're actually in the system, everything works smoothly. You exist officially. You can open bank accounts and get proper contracts. The German system is stable and fair once you survive the entry process. The Verkäufer, the German shop clerk, is aggressively unhelpful and they want you to know it. You walk into a store and they don't greet you. They don't acknowledge your existence. You could be on fire and they'd continue folding shirts. You ask where something is located and they point vaguely without looking up. You ask a product question and they sigh like you've personally ruined their entire day. They're having a personal phone conversation while scanning your items. Full conversation about their boyfriend's cousin's dog. You're standing there with your wallet out and they're discussing pet grooming. No greeting when you arrive. No goodbye when you leave. Just silent judgment and apathy. They make eye contact only to express disappointment in your existence. In America, cashiers are fake nice. In Germany, they're authentically indifferent. These are obviously stereotypes and exaggerations. Most Germans are genuinely lovely people. But also, some of this is very real. Anyway, the upside is they won't upsell you garbage. No, would you like to add nonsense? Efficient checkout. You're in and out. Honestly refreshing. The supermarket. German supermarkets operate on aggressive efficiency. The cashier scans items at superhuman speed. You're still packing your first 3 items and they've already scanned 15 more. Your groceries are piling up. You're panicking, sweating. The person behind you is judging you for being slow. The cashier's judging you. You're judging yourself. There are no baggers. You pack your own stuff while simultaneously paying and trying not to cry. Shopping carts require a coin deposit because Germans don't trust anyone. The recycling machines jam constantly, and you're standing there for 20 minutes feeding bottles one by one into a machine that sounds like it's dying. People are territorial about their shopping space. Bump someone's cart and they act like you've committed assault. Everyone's in a rush. Everyone's annoyed. Nobody makes eye contact. But the prices are incredibly cheap. The products are high quality, no fake customer service theater. Nobody's pretending to care about your day. It's honest, efficient. The German way of showing respect is not wasting your time. The Gründlich, the thorough one. This person over-prepares everything to an absurd degree. They're buying a toaster and they've created a 50-page comparison spreadsheet. They've read 400 reviews. They've calculated energy efficiency over a 10-year period. They've graphed toast darkness consistency across 12 brands. It's been 6 months. They still haven't bought the toaster. They're paralyzed by the need to make the objectively perfect choice. Going grocery shopping? They've meal planned for 3 weeks and created a color-coded shopping list organized by store layout. Meeting them for coffee? They've researched the optimal cafe based on 17 factors, including Wi-Fi speed and bathroom cleanliness. They cannot be spontaneous. Every decision requires analysis. They're the person who reads the entire menu, including ingredients and preparation methods, before ordering the same thing they always order. Exhausting to be around, but when they actually do something, it's done perfectly and never needs to be redone. German thoroughness prevents expensive mistakes and sloppy work. Is this the Y of Z? It's the engineering mindset applied to everything. The German doctor, You go to the German doctor feeling terrible, fever, pain, exhaustion. You need help. The doctor looks at you with zero sympathy. You're not dying. Thanks, doc. Very comforting. They prescribe rest and fresh air for everything. Broken leg? Rest and fresh air. Pneumonia? Rest and fresh air. Actual plague? Rest and fresh air and maybe an aspirin if you're lucky. Open the window. Take a walk. Drink water. That's the entire treatment plan. You ask about medication and they look offended. Germans don't over-medicate. That's an American thing. You wanted antibiotics? Too bad. Your body will heal itself, apparently. The bedside manner is colder than the examination room. No reassurance, no sympathy. Just clinical facts delivered with the emotional warmth of a refrigerator. But the healthcare system is efficient and affordable. They won't prescribe opioids for a headache. They focus on actual healing instead of masking symptoms. The German medical approach is evidence-based even if it feels heartless. When you actually need serious care, they're excellent. Just don't expect anyone to hold your hand. The quiet hours. Ruhezeit. Quiet hours. From 10 at night until 7 in the morning and all day Sunday, you cannot make noise. Any noise? Walking too heavily? Noise violation. Flushing your toilet? Believe it or not, also a noise violation. Your baby crying at 11? Your neighbors will knock on your door to complain about the baby you cannot control. Someone's practicing violin at 9:58? Acceptable. 9:59. Acceptable. 10:01. Call the police immediately. Germans take silence seriously. Your neighbor 3 floors down can hear you sneeze. And they will let you know they heard it and they're disappointed. You drop something at 10:15 and you're getting passive-aggressive notes the next morning. No vacuuming on Sunday. No drilling. No furniture moving. No laundry. No living loudly. The whole country becomes a library, but you can actually sleep peacefully. Your rest is culturally protected. People respect shared spaces. It's considerate even when it feels extreme. The German dedication to quiet is basically mandatory meditation for an entire society. The German waiter. Your German waiter is not here to be your friend. You sit down, and they appear eventually. No smile, no welcome. Just standing there waiting for you to order like you're inconveniencing them by existing in their section. You ask a question about the menu, and they roll their eyes. Visible eye roll. You ask for tap water, and they look personally offended. Still or sparkling? You say, tap. They walk away disgusted. The food takes forever. You're starving. They're nowhere to be found. You finally flag them down for the check, and they've already printed it. They brought it before you asked because they want you gone. You're taking too long. Other customers are waiting. You try to be friendly and crack a joke. They stare at you blankly. Zero humor, zero warmth. Just judgment and impatience, but they're honest about food quality. They'll tell you if something's bad. They give authentic recommendations instead of pushing expensive items. They won't hover for tips because service is included. It's genuine even if it's cold. German party ending. Germans schedule parties with specific end times, and they mean it. The invitation says 8 to 11. You show up at 8:30. The party's already in full swing. Everyone arrived exactly at 8 because that's when it starts. 11 approaches. The host announces it's almost 11. People start putting on coats. 11:01 hits and the room is empty. Everyone's gone, taking their Tupperware containers and leftover contributions. You're standing there confused because in other cultures, 11 means maybe 1 in the morning. Not in Germany. 11 means 11. The host is already cleaning. They've got work tomorrow, so do the guests. Nobody lingers. No awkward should we go hints. No pretending you didn't notice the time. It's over. Leave. Goodbye. But it's actually beautiful. Clear expectations mean no confusion. People respect boundaries. The host isn't stuck entertaining until 3 in the morning while silently resenting everyone. Germans value honesty over politeness, and it's weirdly respectful when you think about it. The punctual panic. This person arrives 15 minutes early to everything and judges you harshly if you don't. They're waiting outside the restaurant when you show up exactly on time, looking at their watch disapprovingly. On time is late to them. Early is on time. You schedule a casual hangout and they've already planned the entire itinerary with time buffers for traffic. They leave parties at the exact stated end time even if they're mid-conversation. It says until 11. It's 11. I'm leaving. They cannot be spontaneous. You suggest grabbing dinner sometime and they pull out their planner. I have an opening 3 weeks from Thursday at 7:15. 7:15, not 7, not 7:30. 7:15 specifically. They check their watch constantly. Waiting for anything makes them visibly anxious. If a meeting starts 2 minutes late, they're tapping their pen and sighing. But they're completely reliable. They never waste your time. When they say they'll be somewhere, they're there, early. German punctuality means you can actually plan your life without contingency buffers. The Ordnungsamt officer, the Ordnungsamt. The order office. Professional fun killers with badges and clipboards. You're having a small birthday party, and at 10:01 they're knocking on your door with a decibel meter. Not 10:15. Not 10:30. 10:01. They measured your noise levels from the street, and you're 0.3 decibels over the legal limit. Here's your fine. You parked your car 4 centimeters over the designated line. Fine. Your trash bin is the wrong color for the recycling type. Fine. They walk around looking for violations like it's a sport. Found someone's grass too tall. Fine. Someone's fence is the wrong shade of brown according to local regulations. Fine. They appear at neighborhood gatherings not to participate, but to ensure everything's permitted. Do you have a permit for this barbecue? It's 3 people eating burgers. They don't care. Rules are rules. They're genuinely excited about enforcing obscure ordinances nobody else knows exist. But neighborhoods stay peaceful because of them. People with early jobs can actually sleep. Shared spaces remain pleasant for everyone. German Christmas market. Every German city has a Christmas market and they're all identical. Same 6 booths selling the same overpriced items. Wooden ornaments, candles, carved nativity scenes, sausages, glühwein. That's it. That's every market. You pay €4 deposit for a €3 mug of wine. You drink the wine. You lose the mug somewhere in the crowd. You're now crying about a mug. The markets are packed with tourists elbowing each other for Instagram photos. Everything costs triple the normal price because Christmas spirit apparently means price gouging. The vendors look miserable. They're freezing. They're dealing with drunk people. They hate their lives, but they're smiling for tips. You're cold. You're spending too much money on mediocre food. But somehow it's magical. The lights, the music, the smell of cinnamon and roasted almonds. Communities actually gather. Tradition matters. When it's not overcrowded, it genuinely brings people together. Germans complaining about Christmas markets while attending every single one is peak German behavior, honestly. The German landlord. Your German landlord inspects everything with forensic precision. Moving in, they document every microscopic scratch with photos and notes. You're signing paperwork for an hour while they catalog the existing damage to protect themselves from you, the inevitable destructive tenant. Moving out, white glove inspection. Literally, they run their finger along surfaces checking for dust. They compare wall colors to paint samples to ensure you've repainted to the exact original shade. Not close, exact. They require specific paint brands. You hung pictures? Those nail holes are damage. That's coming out of your deposit. The kitchen has a water spot on the faucet. Deposit deduction. They notice everything. You lived there for 3 years without issues, but now suddenly the floors are scratched, and you're responsible for wear and tear that's completely normal. Getting your deposit back feels impossible, but they maintain properties well, clear contracts. Everything's documented, so there's less chance of getting scammed. German rental regulations actually protect tenants legally, even if landlords are intense. German small talk attempt. You try making small talk with a German and it goes badly. You smile and say, "How are you?" expecting fine thanks. But instead you get a 10-minute detailed response. Their back hurts. The medication isn't working. Their doctor is incompetent. Their commute was terrible. The government is useless. You asked a polite question. You didn't want their medical history, or they just stare at you suspiciously. Why are you asking? Because it's a normal greeting. Not in Germany. Small talk is viewed as fake and unnecessary. Why discuss the weather when you could discuss nothing? Silence is preferable to empty conversation. You try complimenting something and they explain why you're wrong. Nice jacket. It's too thin for this weather, actually. I should have brought the other one. They cannot accept compliments. Everything's a correction. But when they actually talk, it's genuine. No fake pleasantries, no surface-level nonsense. When a German asks how you are, they actually want to know. Real friendships form because everything's authentic from the start. The Ausländerbehörde worker, the foreigner's office, where dreams of living in Germany go to die slowly and painfully. You need a visa extension. Simple, right? You book an appointment, 4 months wait. You show up with every document on their list. They look at your papers and say you're missing something. What are you missing? They won't specify, just something. Figure it out. Come back, another 4-month wait. You return with additional documents. Now they need different ones. The requirements changed. Nobody told you. You ask 2 different workers the same question and get completely contradictory answers. One says bring A. One says bring B. Both are confident. Both are wrong, apparently. They lose your paperwork. You have to start over. The system seems intentionally designed to make immigration impossible. You're drowning in bureaucracy and contradictions, and nobody's helping. Remember the AMP nightmare from earlier? This is that but worse, because your legal status depends on it. But once you're actually approved, the system is stable. Clear residency rights, legal protections, fair treatment once you're in. The German stare. You're on the train, and a German is staring directly at you. Not glancing. Staring. You make eye contact. They don't look away. You look down. Look back up. Still staring. Are they judging you? Plotting something? Memorizing your face for later? You're genuinely unsettled. This goes on for minutes. You're convinced you've done something wrong, or they're upset, or they hate you specifically. In other cultures, staring is aggressive. In Germany, it's just normal. They're not judging you. Probably. They're just thinking, observing, existing in public while making direct eye contact. It feels like an FBI interrogation, but it's actually just cultural differences around eye contact norms. They're thinking about their grocery list or work project or nothing at all. You're having a panic attack thinking you've offended them somehow. But Germans are just comfortable with silence and eye contact in ways other cultures aren't. Once you understand it's not personal, it's less terrifying. Slightly less. You still feel watched constantly, but at least you know they're not actually plotting anything. The German friend. Making a German friend takes approximately 5 years minimum. You meet someone, you chat occasionally, you hang out in group settings. This continues for months. You think you're friends. You're not friends. You're acquaintances. Germans have a formal friendship application process that nobody explains to you. You have to prove yourself over time. No instant friendships. No casual, we're friends now after 2 conversations. They're suspicious of newcomers. Friendliness is earned through years of consistent contact and passing unspoken tests you didn't know existed. You try scheduling a hangout and they check their planner. I'm available 3 weeks from now. 3 weeks for coffee. They cancel if you're 2 minutes late once because punctuality equals respect. They're formal and distant and you're wondering if they even like you. But once you're actually in, you're in for life. German friends are loyal, reliable. They'll help you move furniture at 6 in the morning. They'll drive 3 hours to pick you up when your car breaks down. The friendship barrier is high, but once you're through it, you've got someone who genuinely cares forever. So yeah, those are all the negative German stereotypes explained. Some are definitely true, and some are exaggerated, and some vary wildly, depending on the region and individual person. Let me know which ones I got completely wrong, or which ones hit way too close to home. Subscribe for more stereotype content where we roast entire countries with love and extreme specificity.